Welcome back to the Intuition Incubator. Incubators, today I have with me Andy Dooley, the co-founder of Tut.com, the brain behind the vibration activation and the Manifestors Cafe. As a manifestation coach, law of attraction expert, and spiritual comedian, Andy combines wisdom with wit to inspire and entertain. His newest ebook, The 5 Mistakes Manifestors Make and How to Fix Them, is a valuable resource he offers for free at his website, andydooley.com. His style makes even deep spiritual concepts feel easy and engaging. So be sure to visit his Manifestors Cafe, where he teaches deliberate creators like you and me how to accelerate their dreams into reality. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you, Abby. Love it. Woo! We're ready to rock.
We are ready to rock. So Andy and I met in Peru, of all places, when I was on a Tut.com vacation, right? And it was
right.
incredible. And we were hiking up one of the sites that we were at and realized very quickly that we believe and teach and practice the same things. And our practices are very similar. So I'm excited to have this conversation because I think that the listeners are going to get a ton out of it.
Yeah, I do too. And I love the incubators. All right, incubators. Woo!
Well, right. Because I always say, we are so separate from our intuition and that inner knowing and the source within that we literally have to incubate that again because we've been so conditioned otherwise. And one of the things that, you talk about a lot, and I can't wait to get more into, is this idea of manifestation. How do you do it? What gets in your way? And what are the tools that you teach that help people get out of their own way? And that works really perfectly with, because we know that when we are diving into our intuition, to our highest source, and we're not thinking so much, manifestation works a lot faster. So it's about incubating that ability inside us, really, for lack of better words.
Yeah. And I've been coaching clients one-on-one for 10 years. I've been into the metaphysical woo-woo spiritual stuff for 20 plus years. And I've developed a lot of unique, fun tools to help people rewire their brains, activate the emotion. Because so many people give lip service and are saying affirmations, but they're really not feeling it. They're addicted to their drama, the negative emotions, because that's so familiar that's the pattern that we just run. And so I've got a lot of great tools that I can share. And intuition is such a important part. Obviously, your whole podcast is about that. And I got a great story when I was starting out as a speaker. Like I wasn't yet a speaker, but I had been invited to speak at a Seth conference. Jane Roberts channeled Seth, just like Abraham channels Esther, Daryl channels Bashar. So I was living in Orlando, Florida at the time. And I'm excited because this is like one of my first gigs as a speaker, and I'm flying from Orlando to Denver. And as I'm loading up my car that morning, the little voice within inside my head said, "Andy, take your passport." And I thought, I don't need my passport. It's a domestic flight. That's ridiculous. Loading up my car, I literally in my car and about to back out of the driveway. And the voice, comes through gently and lovingly, "Take your passport." And I'm like, well, that's the voice. I should really listen to that. And so I ran in the house, I grabbed my passport, put it in my cargo pants, take off to the airport. I'm driving to the airport, practicing my stories and my speeches and what I'm going to say at this, because I'm speaking at a conference. Like, this is a dream come true. And then I get to the airport, I check in, give them my bags, get my, boarding pass, and I get to TSA security and hand him my boarding pass and driver's license. And the security guard looks like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. And he's like, "Mr. Dooley, your driver's license has expired. I'm sorry, I can't let you proceed." And I'm like, no, I have to be in Denver. I'm speaking. This is the life-changing a moment. And then the little voice in my head said, "Andy, show him the passport." So I whipped out the passport, showed him. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Dooley, enjoy your flight." And I was like, yes, listen to the voice within. It's always guiding us, loving us, supporting us.
That is such a good story on so many levels, right? Because people think of intuition as they almost think about it as a thinking process, kind of the way that you mentioned earlier, that we think of manifesting as like only our thoughts. But intuition is so much bigger than that. It's literally the source within. It's what I call in-sourcing instead of outsourcing,
Oh, I love it.
And so that is such a beautiful example. And how many times do we just ignore that knowing and disbelieve the universe, the energy, like that is a way to create. Not everything has to be done. Well, I got to walk from point A to point B. Like, we can move time and space. That's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow.
Yeah. And the more we tune into that feeling, through meditation, through quiet time, through journaling, and just really even the desire, right? It starts with the desire. Oh, I want to be more intuitive. I want to honor those thoughts that are coming, and the thing, intuition doesn't scream, it doesn't yell, it's just subtle. It's a feeling. It's really the feeling. Oh, that feels like that's where I need to go. That's what I need to say. That's what needs to happen. So it's really getting in touch with that feeling of that, inner guidance, intuition. It's always there.
Yeah. Yeah. And, getting quiet, I think, is such an important thing, right? Because in today's day and age, we're very divided, as we know, and we're very attached to what we believe and what we think. And we don't really actually realize the degree to which we can be programmed into these things. And when we're feeling super attached to things and super this is right, there's a right, there's a wrong, there's a this, there's a that, there's a lot of thought that goes into that. It's using that thinking brain, although it triggers all of these emotions that you mentioned earlier. We get addicted to that story. Well, I can't do this because of X, Y, or Z. Or if I do that, it will mean I'm selfish, or that person, or whatever. And this really blocks our connection. Whereas that quiet time and that faith and trust that there is something deep inside me that connects with something that is much more powerful than anything that I could ever even imagine or dream of. And I can create that way.
Amen. Yeah, that's what this whole awakening that's happening on planet Earth is about. We're getting away from that old third dimension of right and wrong and thinking, and I'm going to make this happen. You don't make it happen. You make it welcome by being in tune with your guidance, by practicing and cultivating those emotions of gratitude, appreciation, kindness, compassion, breathing into your heart. I'm sure you've talked about this before, like brain-heart coherence, inhale for 5, exhale for 5, and just sitting every day, every morning, I sit and I meditate. I love it. I love, love, love meditation. In the beginning, it's your mind's everywhere. My mind still will wander, but the more I commit to that, honoring that bigger part of me, honoring the source, because you and I, we're manifestations of the divine. We are the sun, the moon, and the stars. We're sovereign beings, and we are creators of our reality. And we're here waking up. We're here to wake up humanity. That's why your podcast is blowing up. Other people's podcasts are blowing up, because this is the time to go within and do the work.
Yeah. I love that. And so speak to this thing about, because you mentioned feeling gratitude. And I think 1,000%, where people really struggle is we tend to think our emotions rather than feel our emotions.
Amen.
Right? And so we're I'm so grateful to be here right now. Oh, Andy, I'm just so grateful to be here right now. And there's nothing about that is coming from the heart, right? We're trained to really think so much that we got to take a minute to drop that down so that it's actually a visceral, emotional experience and not just, let me write what I'm grateful about today. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful that I have food. I'm grateful. How do you help people do that? Because and talk for a minute about why it's so important.
Right, because how you're feeling consistently. So here, let me back this up. Okay, so it's not about manifesting. If you're listening to this podcast wanting to learn to manifest, I want to say it's not about manifesting. It never was. We were sold a bunch of lies because we're manifesting all the time. Manifesting is automatic. We're so powerful. We are such powerful creators. We don't have to learn how to manifest. We have to learn to understand how we are manifesting. And so it's your state of being, it's your energy, it's your frequency, it's your mood, it's your attitude. That's what's determining what's coming into your life or what you're pushing away from your life. So it's not about manifesting, it's about your state of being. And that comes down to emotions. It's what is my emotions?
Hold on, because I just want to repeat that because it's such gold. we are all about trying to manifest what we want in our life. That's human, right? That's a human
Right.
condition. And there's nothing wrong with it. We want desire. We want to have things in our life. But the point that you're making that's so gold is that even though our ego thinks that's what we're doing, that's not what's happening here. The fact is we're already manifesting just by the state of being. So if I am in a shitty emotional state, I am manifesting that. If I'm in an amazing state, I'm manifesting that. So I just wanted to say it again because it was so fast. Continue.
Amen. And all it takes, okay, here's the thing I teach in my members and my clients, 68 seconds. You know, I learned this from Abraham Hicks, that when you hold a thought, a feeling of appreciation for just 68 seconds, it changes your whole frequency. It changes the signal you're sending out to the universe. So immediately the universe now is responding to a different signal. And so 68 seconds, you know, that's challenging for a lot of people to hold a positive thought or a state of being of just, oh, I'm going to appreciate things for 68 seconds. It's like, no, we go 6 to 8 seconds and we get a text message and there's a squirrel and we get an email. So we can't get to 68 seconds because we're so distracted. We're so overwhelmed. And so that's why, you know, practicing a state of being. And one of the tools I continue to use is starting each sentence with the words, that's right. And you say, that's right. I'm appreciating what is. That's right. I'm excited for more. That's right. I'm making the best of what I've got. That's right. I'm tuning into my heart and listening to the voice within. That's right. I'm getting better at honoring those emotions and intuition. That's right. I love knowing that the bigger part of me is guiding me all the time. That's right. I love knowing I don't have to figure it all out right now. That's right. I know that my work right now is just to lighten up and feel better about this moment because this moment has everything I need. That's right. I'm getting better at this. That's right. I'm feeling more appreciation. That's right. I'm getting into the flow. That's right. And you get to 68 seconds and bam, your energy is changed. Now you get the solution. Now you get the intuitive hit to call that person, to, you know, check your email and boom, you just got a new client. You know, it's like, yes, this shit works.
Right. So that's right. Adding that to the beginning and just sort of, I hear as you're saying it, it's almost like revving yourself up, like getting more and more into it. And I think it's true, right? Like, just like when we're wanting to increase our energy, we have to get up sometimes and walk around. Like the body sometimes is like, I don't feel like doing that, you know, and so we force ourselves up and maybe it feels fake in the beginning. Like, I'm going to walk around, I'm going to get into this so that I can, whatever, you know, you show up at the gym or wherever you are and it's like you're phoning it in. But then all of a sudden, just by the movement, something has shifted. And I hear that in what you're saying. That's right. It's like you might start by being like, that's right, I'm creating, you know, but you keep going like, that's right, wait a minute. And then in one moment you're like, wait a minute, that's right, that's right, I am. And
that's
now,
right.
Now you've got some energy moving. That's what I hear you saying.
Yeah, because motion, you probably heard this, motion creates emotion. And so get up, walk, move around, strike a power pose, put your hands over your head in the victory pose, like a V. Right now, if you're listening to this and you can put your hands over your head in a V shape and breathe into that, you know, that changes your physiology, changes your emotion, your state of being. You know, Tony Robbins is a big fan of change your state, get in a peak state and then take action, get in the vortex and then take action. And all it takes is 68 seconds. It does. And yes, we all have, you know, therapy and inner healing work. But in this moment right now, in 68 seconds, you can change your state of being. And when you flex that muscle enough, then it becomes automatic. And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm getting caught up in the drama, right? Your dreams have to be bigger than your drama. You have to care about how you feel. And you got to be satisfied. This is one of my favorite quotes. I've been saying it and living it for the past 6 months is, you got to be satisfied with what is, and you got to be excited for more. You've got to appreciate what is, because this is all you got. You can't curse what is, because then you're pushing away. You're saying, no, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. Now you're in resistance. So I'm satisfied with what is. I'm appreciating what is, everything in my life, the contrast, the drama. I love it all. And now I'm excited for more. Just feel that thought. I'm satisfied with what is, and I'm excited for more. That's what opens the door. And that's a state of being that you want to practice and stop trying to manifest. Just be satisfied, be appreciative, and you're really going to be in the right state of being.
Yeah, because that satisfied with what is creating a signal in and of itself. Because like you said, when we're pushing away, we're saying, I don't want this. I just want to get here. I don't want to be here anymore. Now we're sending resistance. There's static on the signal. The universe is only hearing what you don't want. They don't hear like, but I don't want that. They're like, oh, you want more of that? Okay, here's more isolation. There's, more struggle. So, but let's talk for a moment, because it's very easy. And this is one of the reasons that I do this podcast and I do the work that I do when we really do a deep dive, is that, there's this thing called spiritual numbing and spiritual bypassing. That
Right.
really happens a lot in, the higher consciousness community. And what happens when there's this deeper belief system, right, that makes it really hard, and I know you talk about this and you address this, that makes it really hard because you're saying these things, you want to believe these things, you understand that you must, in order to really turn the ship around, embody these things.
Right.
But like you said, your dream has to be bigger than your drama. That drama, or whatever it is, that internal belief, I can't, and that has been such a driving force in my whole adult life. It was, I can't, because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that, right? And when I was first starting out with this, it was extremely frustrating because I knew what I needed to do, but that belief or lack of belief was so great that in meditation, I would just sit there and like go in circles, So how do you help people that are really struggling with that, a belief that is deeper than the knowledge that they have to do all these things?
Great question. Yeah. So I've created a tool called the transition story. And the transition story bridges the gap, because there's where you are in your life and then there's where you want to be. And there's always going to be a gap, right? There's always a new desire. There's always, whether it's a desire to just feel better, to relax, whether it's to create something. And so it's how you feel about the gap that really matters. And so if you're saying an affirmation or trying to install a new belief of, you're like your example, I can't do it. I'm not capable. I don't have the wherewithal. No one's going to listen to me. No one's going to buy my thing. And then you try to jump to, I'm a divine being. I'm manifesting abundance. Everybody wants my thing. I'm happy, wealthy, and prosperous. And your brain says, bullshit, you're broke, you're stupid, you can't do it.
Right.
And you're like, damn it. And so you use the 3 magic words. And people already have done this unconsciously, but now when I bring it to the conscious forefront, it's like, oh, of course. So to bridge the gap, transition, the 3 magic words are beginning, becoming, and allowing. And you say, I'm beginning to shift the energy. I'm beginning to feel better about myself. Not, I'm 100% super positive. I love everything. It's like bullshit. So I'm beginning to feel better about myself. I'm becoming more confident. I'm beginning to know it's within me. I'm allowing it to be fun. I'm allowing myself to shift how I feel. So beginning, becoming, allowing, you again for 68 seconds and you've changed it. You've started rewiring the brain, because literally every thought you think changes the wiring of your brain. That's profound. And the more you fire and wire thoughts that feel good, the more you start to create those neural networks, you start to create new chemistry in your body, and you do start to feel more optimistic. You start to feel capable. Instead of I can't, I'm beginning to feel capable. I'm beginning to take baby steps. I'm becoming more confident. I'm allowing it to be fun. I'm allowing myself to feel confident. I'm allowing myself to be focused. Now I'm bridging the gap. I'm shifting the energy a little bit. And then it's the firing and the wiring. And then you can get to the, I am confident, I am capable. And yes, I'm going to have challenging situations. Contrast is going to come up. You can't get rid of contrast. It's always going to be there. And I love, Bashar had a really great metaphor of, think of a light bulb and you light up that light bulb, and the light bulbs are beliefs. And so Light bulbs on their own, a belief on its own has no power unless you're giving it the belief, unless you're giving it energy and focus. And so when you think of a new light bulb that says, I am capable, right? So imagine that light bulb has no energy going to it, but now you're giving it energy and thought. I am capable. I can figure this out. I've got the internet. I've got AI. I've got mentors and coaches. Like, all the information is available to us now. Now I've got to apply it. That's right. I'm beginning to apply this information. That's right. This light bulb is beginning to light up because I'm giving it energy. And so we have negative light bulbs and positive light bulbs. And so we take away the energy from the negative of I can't do it. So you can literally imagine that light bulb shining bright. I can't. Say, I'm not going to give it energy anymore. So that light bulb dims out. And now it's a dark light bulb. And now I'm going to give the light bulb, I'm capable. I can figure this out. I'm on the path. Things are working out for me. I'm taking baby steps. I'm feeling the momentum building. I can do this. I can figure this out. Yeah, I'm on it. I'm doing it. I got it.
Yeah, no, I like that. So I want to, unpack that a little bit, because what I hear, light bulb visual is really helpful, I think, because, being able to experience when you're giving something energy and drawing energy away from something. And that is when we give our saboteurs or our thoughts or our dramas energy by thinking about them, it grows it. It makes the light brighter, right?
Right.
And when we stop listening to that voice and fretting over it and worrying about it, and oh my God, I made a fool of myself, or this happened or that happened, or all this and that, then it literally sucks the energy away from that ego part. And that ego, that part of your mind, has nothing left to do. I mean, the mind is basically just at this point trying to find a way to do its job that it's not capable of doing. It's just trying to find a use for itself. And through our thinking and our, capitulating and all of these things. So what I love that analogy, and this idea that you said, like, new thoughts rewiring our brain, right? Like 80% of the thoughts that we have today are the same thoughts we had yesterday. Yeah. Nothing new is happening. Like, we may think that we're reinventing ourselves every day, but literally nothing new is happening unless we are putting a lot of purpose and intention behind it. So I feel like that's so important, what you said. And then lastly, this idea of that segue. I'm beginning this, it has to be something that your mind can buy into. You cannot say, no, I'm amazing, when you don't believe it. But if you can find a transition statement that lands with you, that's like, no, wait a minute, that is true. That's actually true. I am growing. I am in the middle of this. I am taking a step to figure this out. That is true. Then you buy into that, and that's a stepping stone along the way, is what I hear you saying, to buying into the bigger picture.
Yeah, validating where you are. Validate your path, because if you invalidate what's happening, then you can't get to the next step. So you want to just love where you're at. Validate, fully embrace. This is where I'm at. Whether you're in debt, you're overweight, you're in disease, whether you're trying to scale your business to the next level and you feel blocked or stuck, just validate. This is where I'm at, and it's okay. Another phrase I like to use with my clients is I'm on the path, and then you fill in the blank. I'm on the path to figuring it out. I'm on the path to feeling better. These are general thoughts that anybody can start saying. I'm on the path to taking baby steps. I'm on the path to the answer. I'm on the path to health and well-being. I'm on the path to healing. I'm on the path to abundance. I'm on the path to good times, right? You're firing and wiring. I'm on the path. And they're general statements, but again, it's changing your state of being. And then you establish a new signature frequency. You're now more consistently putting out a different energy that the universe is responding to. So when problems and contrasts show up, the answer's right there.
Yeah. So let's talk for a moment about focus, because I know you talk about focus.
Focus is big.
Right?
Yes.
And one of the things, talk about focus, and then I'm going to ask you a follow-up question if you don't hit this question that I have for you.
Okay, so focus is one of our most powerful tools that we all have, because we think we're experiencing life, but you only ever experience what you're focusing on. So right now, the listeners are listening to this. You're focusing on this conversation, the dialogue back and forth. Maybe you're taking some notes. This is what you're experiencing now. You're experiencing the Incubator podcast. That's what you're experiencing. and focus. What you focus on, you're going to feel. So right now, if we turned on the news, then we focused on the news and the negativity and the drama and all the you're going to feel like crap within seconds because you're focusing on all the worst crap that's happening in the world. But now if we change our focus and we think about dolphins jumping out of the ocean, snow-capped mountains, people on the dance floor right now dancing. Right now, couples are getting married, babies are being born, sunsets are happening, people are toasting champagne, people today are healed of something that has been holding them back. So right now your focus is on all the good that's happening. Now you feel good. So focus equals feeling, and how you feel consistently is how you're attracting. It's a feeling. It's all energy. It's all frequency. So focus is everything. And every day you have a million things to focus on that can feel bad, and you have a million things to focus on that can feel good. You're in the middle. You get to decide where your focus goes. So focus is one of the most important tools. You want to get good at focusing on the good, focusing on the progress. Now, I'm not saying deny any negativity, but I'm just saying focus on where you want to go. Don't focus on all the drama and the stuff that you can't control, because most of it you can't control, but you can control your focus.
Yes. Oh, so beautiful. And I think that particularly we are in a moment in time where this is really hard, because when some people hear you say that, they're going to say, "Oh, well, that's irresponsible. Like, how can you, Andy, live in this fantasy land when, whatever they think is happening, and you're really a very selfish, horrible person because you're not focusing. Like, people are hurting right now."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people are dying, hurting, suffering, and 99% of it is out of my control. I can't go to Israel or to the Gaza Strip. I can't go to the White House and tell them what to do. I can't control those things, but I can make my world. I can go to the grocery store and spread love and light. I can have a call with my membership and activate their heart chakra and get them feeling their magic and power again. I can breathe the love and light for those that I can reach. Like right now, I'm reaching all these new people I've never met before. Thank you, Abby. And we all have a choice. Like you have so little control over the crazy noise and drama, but you do have control over how you treat your spouse, your kids, your employees, your coworkers. That's where your magic is. We outnumber. The positive and the light and love dominates planet Earth, but we're so focused on the drama that we're letting the drama and negativity bring our vibe way down. So now we're not empowered. Now we're not listening to our intuition, and we're doing stupid things, and we're in fear. We're in fight or flight, and we're locking the doors and buying food and waiting for the world to end. It's like, no, let's create a new world.
Yes. Oh my God. Power to the people. So this is what I'm hearing, right? Is that that is where true power really is. And I think that, and one of the things you said was, you can be the best spouse, you can be the best parent, you can focus on those things, and i.e. you are a more engaged, more present, more whatever when you are feeling yourself positive feelings. When you have settled your brain and body down and you're in coherence and you are feeling good, then you are naturally, you don't have to try and you don't have to beat yourself into being a better parent. You don't have to beat yourself into, being a good leader. You just are, because that's what your essence is. And the power that is there. But I think that what happens a lot is people believe that if I'm not focused on those things, or that focusing on those things is somehow doing something, even though intellectually we can know that we have no power over it. But how many people are like gathering groups to sit around and bitch about this or that or the other, and they think that means they're doing something, right? And that makes them responsible.
Right. It's the illusion that I'm doing something helpful because we're talking about it. And it sounds so, woo-woo and spiritual, but we're all energy. We're all manifestations of the divine. And when we're more in our heart and we're radiating that frequency affects the whole of humanity and consciousness. And so it is woo-woo, but it really does work when the collective vibrates at higher frequencies. It has that ripple effect, like a rising tide, that quote, a rising tide lifts all the boats in the harbor. And so if we, the collective, are the rising tide, we're going to, even those crazy, wild, negative, awful, terrible people, their consciousness is going to rise. And if they don't, well, they will be left behind, or they will have to check out of this reality because the energy, they can't maintain this higher frequency.
And as soon as we stop doing that, we are no different than all of the horrible things that we think are happening or that we are upset about. We are in division ourselves. So it's not even just woo-woo, right? It's science. It's ancient wisdom. Like other cultures have known this forever and ever and ever, that we create a vibration that rises the collective up. And so, in fact, by intentionally going to the supermarket and being an amazing, patron, or intentionally just focusing in and being like, you know what? I am going to show up for Andy today like nobody's business and just, make this a really great thing for him, or whatever it is, or you for me, or us for the community, or whatever, putting all of our attention here and be present in exactly what we're doing to the best of our ability, with so much positive energy. That is doing 10 gajillion times decibels more than, being upset by something that we, quote, should be upset by. Yeah. And to your point too, it's like, listen, and I always say this too, like, I mean, like if I didn't cook dinner, I don't really feel like I can complain about it, but if I'm if I'm going to put the time into being upset that something, didn't come at the time I wanted, or I'm hungry now, or it doesn't taste the way I wanted, or whatever, then I'm going to have to go do that. And if I want to go do it and put my time into cooking and put my time into figuring it out and be the one to do it, then all my attention should be there on making something beautiful, right? Making something tasty. But if I'm not going to do it, if I'm not running for office, or I'm not, whatever, making these decisions, why would I put my energy just bitching about it?
Exactly. Yeah. And it doesn't feel good. When you bitch and complain, it really doesn't feel good. And again, the more you're in tune with your emotions and your guidance coming from within, you're honoring that intuition, you can feel when you get on the bitch, I call it the bitch train and the bliss train. Every day you have a choice. Are you going to wake up and get on the bitch train, complain and point the finger and play the blame game? Or are you going to get on the bliss train, compliment, appreciate, be the love and light that you want to bring to planet Earth? And you can feel, and there is that, like, it does become familiar for a lot of people. So it feels normal to bitch and complain. And I think, well, that's just who I am. But no, you're love and light. That's who you really are. And so you can feel when you're bitching and complaining, and you can feel the difference when you're complimenting and appreciating and noticing what's good and beautiful with yourself, with other people in the world. There's so much amazing, awesome things happening right now. The question is, are we living in the best of times or the worst of times? You get to decide by your focus. I think we're living in the best of times. I think this is the most incredible time planet Earth has ever seen. It's the awakening of consciousness, truly the age of Aquarius, where we're blending spirituality, science, and technology. These three are merging right now, and opportunities are coming to the surface that have never existed before. New industries are being born with AI, just like the internet. When the internet came along, it created all new industries, the economy, everything, new people, new skills, new jobs. AI is going to do that for all of us. And we're going to be more creative. We're going to be more resourceful. We're going to take it where we've never taken it before. It's going to be amazing what we're moving into. We're walking in to the next best chapters of our lives right now.
That's amazing because, and of course the conditioning that we have, right? When I sit in front of AI sometimes, I'm like, oh shit. It just wrote this Monday Muse better than I said it. Maybe I should go with its version of the Monday Muse instead of my version of the Monday Muse. And then the mind starts going like, wait a minute, this thing's going to put us all out of business. This thing's going to start with it, right? And like you can go down that road and that's just one focus, right? The other focus is, this thing's going to up level us. This thing's going to, whatever it is, this thing makes my life so much easier. Now I can get into an even deeper dive because I can just write a bio like that on this thing, or whatever it is. Right. So beautiful example of focus.
Yeah, focus is everything. I've got another great story about focus and conditions. It comes from Abraham and Jerry Hicks, and it's a story, a little short story about them. And okay, so here's the story, and and then I'll break it down and dissect it. But it shows you the power of focus and alignment. Okay, so years ago, when Jerry Hicks was still alive, Jerry and Esther had bought a new home in San Antonio, Texas. And that summer, they were experiencing a severe drought. You know, the city was on all these water restrictions. The aquifer was getting lower and lower. And one afternoon, Jerry and Esther are sitting on their porch, admiring the property, and they have these beautiful oak trees on the property. And they, of course, were very aware of the drought and feeling the dryness of everything. And Esther said, looking at these trees and the grass and the earth, said, Abraham, I want some rain. I want some rain. And Abraham said, why? And Esther replied with, well, clearly the oak trees need water, and the earth is dry and cracked, and the flowers and the grass is all brown, and nothing is growing. And then Abraham replied and said, you just told us why it is not going to rain. Tell us, why do you want the rain? So Esther obviously knows the teachings of Abraham and realized what she just did, which I'll break down in a minute. And she changed her tune. She did a complete 180. And she said, oh, Abraham, I want the rain because it's refreshing. I want the rain because I love the smell and feel of it in the air. I want the rain because of the relief that it brings to the trees and the earth and everything. And then, right then and there, not 10 minutes later, not 20 minutes later, right then and there, it started to rain. Jerry and Esther looked at each other in amazement of the power of alignment, and that what seemed out of blue skies, it suddenly started raining on their property. And they're just like, it's raining. And so later that evening, you know, it rained for a little bit. And then later that evening, Jerry and Esther were excited to see the local weatherman report to see, did it rain everywhere? Did it just rain there? What's going on? Like, this is pretty wild. So sure enough, they're eating dinner. The local weatherman comes on and says, today we're still in a severe drought. There's been no rain, but there was an isolated little thunderstorm today in Bernie, Texas. But we're still in a drought. Please don't, water anything.
My God. Yeah. Amazing.
Okay, so now is this a coincidence, or is this the art of being a deliberate creator, that you are the creator of your reality? And so let me break down the story. So when Esther is sitting there on her porch, she's noticing the conditions. She's looking out into the world, looking out onto her porch and the trees and the grass, and she doesn't like the conditions.
Yeah.
This looks very familiar. We're all looking out at the world going, I don't like the conditions. I need the conditions to change so I can feel better. Doesn't work that way. So when Abraham said, why do you want the rain? She said, well, I need the conditions to change, and everything looks really dry and it's really bad, and we know everything needs water. Make it rain. No. Abraham said, tell us why you want it to rain. And she shifted it. She said, oh, it's refreshing. I love the smell and the feel of it. She was lining up. She was cultivating the feeling. First time she just gave lip service. She just talked about it. Now she's lining up with the feeling. It's refreshing. It's delightful. I love the smell. I love the feel, the rain. Oh, it's so refreshing. She lined up with it. There was zero resistance. Yeah. She changed her state of being without the conditions changing. Let me say that again. She changed her state of being without the conditions changing. And when she changed her state of being, the conditions changed. And then it rained. And that's our work as creators that we're here to be, no longer default creating, waiting for the world to change, waiting for the economy, waiting for the government, waiting for your spouse, your kids, your dog, your cat to change so you can feel better. You feel better, and then the conditions change. That's the art of being a deliberate creator.
So good. So good,
Yeah.
listeners. We just have to like let that land for a minute. That's great. So where in your life, if you're listening to this right now, can you switch? And I think you give us really, really great language for that. Are you on the bitch chain or the bliss train? It's so easy. And I remember you said that on the trip. And then after that, I remember getting up and Glenn, one of the people I met there, was like, I'm on the bitch train. Like we could just all identify, like that morning or whatever. I can't remember what happened, if he hadn't slept or whatever. He's like, I'm on the bitch train. And I'm like, all right, well, let me know when you want to come over, on the bliss train or whatever. And you can just, it's so easy for all of us to recognize
Yeah.
when we are on the bitch train. It's just a very, very
you
simple
feel it.
check-in. You feel it, know it. And so what is it that you're trying to manifest right now if you're listening to this, and what's the language you're using? Like, where are you out of alignment? That story is so great because Abraham says, you just told me all the reasons why it's not raining.
Right.
Right. So are you telling the universe all the reasons why it is not happening, whatever it is you want to have happen? Are you saying that, or are you lining up with all of the reasons that it is happening, or it should happen or it must happen? Are you in alignment with that energy field?
Yeah, like right now, I just going general, like, okay, we want the world to change so we can feel better. Okay, I'm going to change how I feel about the world, and let's watch it change. All right, I love humanity. I love how people can work so well together. And when a team of people come together with a vision, oh my God, they can create change and they can make the world even better. And I love how we have our human creative brain in our heart, and we can dance with technology, and we can take thought and energy and economies and health where we've never taken it before. I love getting on the dance floor and dancing with people, and we don't have to know each other. We don't have to know each other's beliefs or religious backgrounds, but the music can make us all move, and we can find harmony, and that harmony is always available to us. And when I look out in the world, I know inside every single person on planet Earth, there is love and light and goodness within them, creativity untapped. And I know if I see their creativity and magic within them, I know I can help them raise and help them access it themselves just by my state of being. I know we're moving into a world that's going to be more magical, more beautiful than we can ever even possibly imagine. And right now we're working out some shit. Right? We got to get the shit on the table, work it out, right? But this is how we get better, right? This is how, like, we've all had the relationship conversation that was difficult, but then once we had that conversation and we cleared the shit, the relationship got to a whole new level. The business got to a whole new level. So when I pull back and I see the big picture, I know humanity is rising to the occasion. I know we're on the path to more love, more abundance, more prosperity, more people laughing, following their heart, living their bliss. Creativity is unlimited, and we're tapping into that now more than ever before. This is the greatest time to be alive on planet Earth. Can I get a namaste?
Yeah, and I mean, the thing of it is that I always say, what I love about that is that if you want to heal the world, heal yourself.
Yeah.
That is the only way to heal the world, because we are each, right, a little separate part of the whole. We are all oneness and wholeness, and born in the light of God, right? And so if I can heal me, and if I do heal me, by the way, I'm not quite as concerned with what you think, right? Like what you think about me, what your beliefs are, whatever. Like I'm vibrating, I'm healed, I'm clear on who I am, what I'm about, who I'm being, right? And because we're human, that's not going to be in every minute, right? We're going to fall from grace. We're going to do things we wish we didn't do. We're going to say things we wish we didn't do. Like, that's going to happen. And so what does it look like to be plugging in when that happens? Well, it looks like not beating the hell out of yourself. It looks like just being honest and being like, well, that wasn't great. I am in Earth Kindergarten. I'm working on, to your point, I'm working on being this. I'm working on getting better. I'm working on these things, right? So it's not like you have to believe like that everything is amazing, or because obviously many, many people don't, right? They don't have faith, that we don't have, like, there's so much that we don't know. There's so much that we like, how could we possibly know? I always think it's hilarious when people like walk around, they have all the answers to the debt. I'm like, really? You Really? Like, even if you are like a
Right.
super mathematician, debt oriented, whatever, like, how do you know? Like, we're talking about trillions of dollars of debt. Like, really? You understand how it works when we print money and what's happening over it? Like, this is a big problem, right? Like, this is
Yeah,
not
it's layered deep.
layered. And we don't know, but people get so well, they just need to do this or they just need to stop doing that, and on all of these things. And it's like, no, we don't really actually know, right? But what I do know is how I can spread love and light by feeling more loving toward myself and, thereby being more love around me, right? So
Yeah.
I really appreciate I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying about the human journey, because it is a sacred journey and we are here. Literally, our soul wants the experience of heartbreak and sadness and depression. And we want these experiences. Planet Earth is a school of emotions, and learning to work with our emotions and understanding that our emotions are tied to our beliefs and thoughts. And so it's beautiful to experience heartbreak as much as we don't want it. And we never want to, but like, I know what it's like to be heartbroken. I know what it's like to be depressed. I'm so glad I've had those experiences. So we need the light in the dark. We need, we're here to transform the darkness into light, fear into love, Mondays into Saturdays. We're here for the transformational experience, because when you're not in the physical body and you're infinite intelligence, you're all that is, you don't have the experience of linear time. You don't have the experience of transformation going from lack to abundance. And we want those experiences. It's so rich and satisfying for our soul. And yeah, it does suck to go through that stuff, but like, you're going to get through it. You'll get on the other side.
Well, and you have to, this is a whole nother conversation, but, understanding that, like, we're holding karmic debt for people, ancestors and past lives and all that kind of stuff. Like, some of the stuff we're going through in our life doesn't even have anything to do with us, but our soul is here to overcome something that our ancestral line is carrying. And we picked it up, for whatever reason we came in with that issue. I want to ask you, in the spirit of all this, what are you working on manifesting? Where in your life are you feeling that I want this to be different or more? And where is it? And how is it for you? Like, do you ever get on that bitch train? Do you ever feel like, oh God, I just tried so hard and this is not working out? Like, and then how long does it take you to get out of it? And what do you do? And like, give us the whole picture.
Yeah. So yes, of course, I'm human. I have my moments where I do get caught up in contrast. I do get on the bitch train. And sometimes, hey, it does feel good to get on the bitch train and go, God damn it, and blah, blah, blah. But then you realize, if you've done this work long enough, that like, if I'm blaming a situation or a person, I've got to take responsibility for that. It's not them. It's not their fault. It's my reaction. I'm learning to be less reactive to the drama. Observe it. You don't have to absorb it, Andy. Observe it. Okay. Yeah, that's some shit. I don't like that. I observe it, but I don't have to absorb it. I don't have to delude myself thinking, oh, I'm going to go change that. I'm going to change myself. And then again, I'm changing the inside that reflected on the outside. And so where I'm going now is more of this, more talking like this, more videos on YouTube, more growing my membership, getting more people who are ready to hear this and want to embrace this, inviting people into my membership. We do this every week. We raise the vibe. I give people a real experience, not just talking about it, but we stop, we breathe into our hearts, we'll say it and feel it until we change our point of attraction. Like every week we do 68 seconds of that's right to change your energy. This world is wanting this information. I truly believe one of my purposes on planet Earth in this lifetime is to help awaken humanity by awakening myself.
Yes.
I believe we're all kind of collective. I think we're all kind of on that page, because if we're here at this time of great awakening, I think it's not a coincidence. We all wanted to be here because we're very advanced souls to do this, to pull off this illusion that we created the game called reality and then gave ourselves amnesia so we'd forget so we could play the game. Like, that's highly, highly advanced.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we act like we're in kindergarten and we do stupid things and say stupid things. So I'm about awakening humanity. More videos, more content, more tools and techniques for people to align with their divine so they can be the light, so they can heal and awaken everything within them. And then the ripple effect happens. And then we enter into this whole new dimension, that we're in fourth dimension now, but we're still in the beginning stages of fourth dimension. And we're on our way to fifth dimension, which will probably be, I think maybe 100 years or 50 years before we get there. But I'm here to rock and roll society and wake us up for all those that are ready to hear.
Nice. And tell us about what you think intuition is.
Intuition is our higher self, source, spirit guides, who are standing. I like how Bashar talks about how there's you, the ego mind, you're down in the valley, and then your higher mind, higher self is on the mountaintop, and the higher self can see the big picture. And so your intuition communicates to you through passion, through positive emotions. So when you feel that excitement, when you feel curiosity, when you feel a nudge to go in a certain direction or on a path, that's your higher self, your intuition coming through. So your intuition, I believe, is a direct link to your higher self, your higher mind, even source energy. And AI is helping us access this higher level of information. Like you said, you write an email, AI writes it even better than me too. I'm like, holy shit, AI's learning it and making it easier for me. I'm accessing a higher energy frequency that's coming through AI. But intuition is your direct link to your higher self, your inner being.
And do you have an example? You shared one of when you followed your intuition. Do you have one of when you didn't?
Yes. It was a travel situation. Mike and I, we just finished doing a WOW tour in New Zealand, and we were both leaving New Zealand, and we were both flying to Australia. Mike had a speaking gig, and I was going to meet up with some friends and just go have fun in Australia. And so we were flying on different flights. Mike was flying Virgin Atlantic, and I think I was flying United. And Mike said, hey, I'm in the Virgin Atlanta VIP lounge. Why don't you come up? You can be my guest, and we hang out until the lounge until your flight is ready. I said, great. So I'm in the VIP lounge. I'm eating macadamia and chocolate chip cookies and drinking champagne. I'm uploading my photos from New Zealand on Instagram. And I lose track of time, right? I'm having so much fun, I lose track of time. My flight was earlier than Mike's flight. Now, because I'm flying a different airline, they don't make announcements in the lounge for other flights.
Right.
So I look at my phone, and my flight is at 3:30, and I look at my phone and it's 3:15, and I'm like, oh shit. Why didn't they make an announcement? And then I realized, okay, so I run down to the desk and I said, hey, I'm here for my flight. I got to check in. And I said, what's your name? Andy Dooley. She's like, where have you been? I have been making announcements for the past 15 minutes for you. I'm like, do you know me? Are you following me on Instagram? She's like, no. She said, you missed your flight. I'm like, what do you mean? It's right there. I can see the plane. I can literally walk out and get on the tarmac. And she's like, no, the gates closed. I could see him taking my bag off the plane. They threw it off the plane. I missed my flight. I wasn't listening to that because I had a little intuition hit while I was in the lounge. You should check your flight. And I was like, no. They'll make an announcement. Then 5 minutes later, you should check your flight. I'm like, intellect. No, they'll make an announcement. I'm in the lounge. No, they don't make announcements for non-Virgin Atlantic flights. So I missed the flight, dumbass. I had to go back, buy a brand new ticket.
Oh God.
Now I'm on Mike's flight. Now I'm on Virgin Atlantic, and now I'm on Mike's flight, and we flew, over to Australia. And so that was a time I did not listen to the voice within.
The voice within, right? All right. And then tell us before we end, if you could just convey any one thing to listeners, if you could tell them, if you want, what do you desperately want people to know?
Desperate. Yeah, I want people to know that they're like, it's going to be all right. Like, we are love and light. You're doing great. You're right where you need to be. This is the great awakening. If you can learn to be satisfied with what is, appreciate what is, and excited for more, that's going to open all the doors you need. And to be less reactive. Stop being so reactive to all the bullshit. Tend to yourself. Mind your own damn business. Focus on your state of being more than anything. And because your state of being is your frequency, and that's what's creating your reality. And know that the whole universe is supporting you. You've got angels, spirit guides, ascended masters. You're a divine being of love and light. You are the master magician of your life. Like, it's all there. It's all within you. It's all within you here right now. Amen.
I love it. See, this is why we jive so much, because it's like, just focus on yourself. That's my message. Like, let's just focus on you. Your state of being is your experience of your life, right? Like,
yes.
We get a choice. How do we get one life? Well, not really, but that we remember. And what do you want your experience of that life to be? Like, that's all our choice that we get to do with our focus, as you so beautifully said before. And I love this other thing you said, I can observe this. I don't have to absorb it.
Right.
Fabulous. Listeners, we got a lot out of this episode, I think. So, you should have a shit ton of energy.
Yes, you should.
Like this episode and review the podcast and jump on Andy's website and see what he's up to and look into that membership.
Yeah, I have a free quiz too, because people they get manifestation block. So I created this free quiz. You can take it in 5 minutes. It's 15 questions, and it'll reveal to you what is your manifestation block, whether it's being your own worst enemy, whether it's what is reality, ignoring emotional guidance, which is your intuition. And so you can take the quiz on my website, and the links will be in the show notes to take my free quiz, and that'll give you insights on where you're blocking yourself.
Perfect. Yes, we will definitely put that in the show notes. Andy, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Abby. This has been super awesome, cosmic, totally tuned in, tapped in, turned on.